Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, good day, everyone. I am Jeff, and Jeff of All Trades podcast. I have a very special guest today. I got the privilege of meeting him a couple months ago, and we're going to be going over what he has done and accomplished in that couple months going to EXP, the same as I have. Today's show is about for sale by owners, FISBOs, and expireds. Let me introduce our guest today is Don Sprenkel. Don Sprenkel. Good day, sir. How are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm real good. Thanks for having me on here. I'm excited to be on here. When you asked me about it, I was like, absolutely, I'd jump right on that, man. A chance to, get on here and talk with you. Because I know you've been, in a few years yourself, so you got a few years on, man. I know you've learned a lot of good things along the way too. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that compliment. Give us a little bit of background about yourself. You've just gotten into real estate. Tell us how long you've been in real estate and what did you do before real estate?
Yeah, so I got my license in January. I took the test. I got my license, and prior to that, and still currently, been a firefighter paramedic for about 10 years. That's been awesome. Love that job. But I wanted something, outside of the fire department, outside of the medical field. Firefighting is a young man's game. The longer I'm in that, the more I see that. So I was just looking for something outside of the medical field, but something where I could still work with people and still help people, okay, be an advocate for people. And so I got into real estate, and it's been good. I got into my primary business focus is working with for sale by owners and expired listings. So I'm on the phones in the mornings. I'm calling for sale by owners. I'm calling expired listings, people that have previously been on the market and struggled to sell, and trying to get their business. I'm essentially cold calling them. So it's a unique dynamic that not every realtor, from what I've found out, is up to making those types of phone calls, but that's all I've known since I've gotten into it, and it's worked pretty well for me.
Nice, good answer. Let's dive a little bit into that and go a little bit backwards. So you are a firefighter paramedic, saving
Hmm.
lives, and you still do that, correct?
Yep.
You're still working, and you said it was a young man's game. How young do you need to be? Like 16 or 17? What's a young? You're
Well,
not that old.
I
You're
mean,
like
typically, yeah, I mean,
you're like
typically, I mean, you can
20.
get a firefighter job, 18 years old, right out of high school. And that's a career that you might be in it for 25, 30 years. And so I got into it about 25, and then I switched departments about 5 years in with a new department. So then without getting into too much detail, my retirement and everything had to start over,
Oh, wow.
which was okay because the department I went to was a little bit, making a little bit better money and everything. So it was a good opportunity for my family and myself and everything. But, looking at that, 30 years old and then having to think about the next 25 years potentially of being in that job still. Like, I love that job, but it takes a toll on your body, physically and mentally, getting up, 2, 3 in the morning, multiple times during the night, things like that. So I wanted something else in case one day for some reason I couldn't be a firefighter anymore. Well, then at least I had something else that I could fall back onto.
Yeah, you real estate. You normally don't have to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning. Hopefully, you don't have a crazy buyer or seller
Yeah,
saying, "Hey, hey." But
right.
I've had those. I've had those. So a young man's game is being young enough to be there for 20 to 30 years, and your body taking it. I never thought about the effects of the sleep. I know a lot of firefighters work 2 jobs, but I always wondered if y'all sleep. Do y'all sleep when you're on call? Or are you up for 24 hours?
Well, the schedule is very conducive for most of us to have another job. Every firefighter I know either has another job or they just work a lot of overtime. And as far as sleep goes, we do have beds and everything that we have bedrooms. We can go to sleep at night, but like anything, you can go to bed at night. But if you get a call, well, then you got to get up and, run the call. So you hope that when you get back, you can go to sleep, but it's not always that easy. So, our circadian rhythms are all kinds of sorts of jacked up, when you're talking about firefighters, just because our sleep schedule is so erratic.
That I think that's a huge thought to think about getting into firefighting. Awesome. And I know when I met you, you were talking about that, and that's what helped you make your decision in what you're doing. A lot of people, and again, Jeff of All Trades, today's show, Jeff of All Trades podcast, live Facebook show. Today's episode is about FSBOs and expireds, and we're going to dig a little bit into why Don started that and why a lot of people start that. And a lot of real estate agents, I think Todd might have been the only one, but they have another job, and then they start real estate as a part-time job and grow it into a full-time job. It's very rare that you're going to find someone that can transition into $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month within 30 days, that you're going to start making your paycheck, that big within 30 days. So you mentioned about a lot of agents not doing that. So we'll start there. And we'll start what led you to do for FSBOs and for sale by owners. You said, I have limited time because I have another job. I have limited time. So what can I do? What one task can I do that I can have control over the most? And you decided FSBOs and for sale by owners, correct?
Yeah. And I wish I could say that was completely an idea that I came up with on my own. Like, I want to work with FSBOs. Oh, sorry. Just messed up my chair. But I want to work with for sale by owners and expired listings. Like, I did not come up with that on my own. I'm smart. I'm not that smart. Fortunately for me, I had a good friend of mine. He was actually a roommate of mine in college, and he went to school and got a business degree. And so he's been in business for the last 15 years, and he actually got into real estate the last couple years. And it was just by chance. It was the day I got my license. I took my test. I got my license. I happened to see a post from him on social media about a house he had up for sale or just sold or something. So I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize he was doing real estate now. So I hit him up, and we ended up having a 2-3 hour conversation about calling for sale by owners, calling expired listings, and the ability to working with them and the ability to still keep control of your time and your schedule. And for me, that was important because I knew this was something I wanted to do, but I would have to dedicate the time to it, but still take care of my other responsibilities. And working with sellers in general sometimes gives you a little bit more freedom over your time, from what I've found, at least in my limited experience, because my daily schedule, if I'm not at the fire department, usually revolves around making my phone calls in the morning and then going on appointments in the afternoon. And, once you put a home up, once you take a listing and put a home up on the market, you have daily or, weekly conferences with your sellers. You might have to do some showings here and there. But for the most part, you still have control of your time. When you're working with buyers, a lot of times, and I've worked with a couple so far, but you can find yourself sometimes taking a lot of time to drive them to different houses in the expired listings because it allows me to control my schedule a little bit better.
Nice. And with the buyers, it's just not taking them. There's a lot of time spent to get them to take them to before you go show any house, you have to find the house. And what makes a good buyer agent, sorry, I'm like moving stuff around as I'm talking. What makes a good buyer agent is not wasting their time and, more importantly, your time. And, and as you get better as people get better at being a buyer's agent, you should be able to nail down the house that they want without seeing, you don't need to go see 10 houses after your first appointment. And we can talk a little bit about that at another time. But let's get back. Yeah, you're right. So the main point about that is you have more control of your time. Now, and your commitment. I'm a full-time real estate agent. I do this 7 days a week. So I have a little bit more flexibility in my time. One thing I liked right off the bat is, we'll back up. I forgot to say this. Don is on Team Homes. What is it called? Homes by Team Shaw?
Homes by Team Schroth. Yeah, with Todd Schroth.
Yes, and Jeff is a big supporter of Todd. Jeff, I'm...
Okay, you guys should be back on.